Welcome and happy Friday. Hope you and your family are healthy. So, what I'd like to do today is take a look at some charts, get you updated on the news. So, I'm not really sure. I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm not really sure that everything's functioning properly, but I definitely hope that it is. And I'm going to share some charts, going to read some questions that have come in over the last few days. Going to once again share my Fortnite screen name with you all so you can play with my son and I over time. But most importantly, I just want to make sure that you and your family are doing well. Hi, everybody. I'm Rob Booker, and welcome to the broadcast. Should be here on Facebook, should be here on YouTube, should even be here on Periscope. If you're joining on Twitter, give me a shout out at Rob Booker. And let's take a look at some charts. I'm going to drop it over here to the screen itself, and you can see I've got a trade on Owens and Minor. I was just listening to a press conference from Washington, D.C. I think it was the mayor of Washington, D.C., although I'm not entirely sure, and was talking about all the masks and stuff necessary. Owens and Minor is a medical supplier, and I love the pattern. I love the setup. I love what's going on here. I like just about everything about it. I am long this stock. I think I bought it right around $7 a share or so. If it gets back up near $10 a share, I'm going to jump out. I love the pharmaceutical and the healthcare stocks right now for obvious reasons. I think those are going to outperform just about everything else. You definitely, of course, you got to be selective. Selective. You gotta pick them, right? You gotta know what you're getting into. I love Vaxart. It doesn't really have the most promising vaccine, but it's got one of the possible vaccines and in research and whatever else. And so I like it. I'm long this stock again. I was long once. I took a small loss. I'm long again. I like stocks like that. I think also food by mail for your dogs or your people in your life. I think those are really interesting names right now. So I love the thought of, I love Chewy. I ordered a bowl on Chewy for my dog, Rosie, who was living in a car and now lives in our house. And you could see Rosie on Facebook probably somewhere. But I like stocks like this. I think that these companies that sell food and other stuff are going to outperform. Blue Apron, I think, will outperform over time. I think it's settling down after a big run up initially, but could possibly continue. And I think then you got to look at stuff that's going to underperform. The retail, the XRT, that's the spider retail stocks. I think Children's Place, Restoration Hardware, these are kinds of companies. It's hard to see these companies ever coming back at all. And I think it's a sobering thought, but I think it's important to recognize how difficult this could be for some of those companies. And there will be winners and there will be losers from all of this. And I don't want to necessarily benefit from the misfortune of others in any situation or any time and place. But you got to be realistic about what's going to do well and what's going to do bad. What's going to do poorly. And I think you have to focus your attention on the stuff that has a known benefit from the circumstances that we're going through right now. And those are healthcare stocks. And I think companies like Amazon even, or, places that deliver, grocery stores are probably doing as well or better than ever. Visa, probably not doing so great. The investment banks, I don't really know. But this is Supercom, SPCB. They make, I don't know if they make software, but they make hardware and technology to help governments enforce quarantines, which is kind of invasive and privacy violating. I'm long this stock. I bought a ton of this stock, and I'm either going to take a loss on this or I'm going to get out at $2 or $2.50 if it can get there. I think Twitter. I think you need to take a look at Twitter. Twitter's going to be a giant win, I think, over the course of the next few months. It's hard for me to imagine a scenario in which Twitter does poorly over this time. Now, advertising rates are down. I think Facebook advertising is half as expensive as it was for me 2 weeks ago even. I'm getting video views when I run ads on Facebook for a penny per video view. It can't go lower than that. It can't get less expensive than that. So I think advertising rates are going to go down. I think some companies won't do well, but I think this is an election year, and I think that Twitter could be one of the high performing stocks. I need to see it go lower first. I'm not sure that it can. I'm going to go full screen here and see what kinds of questions are popping up. So I got comments here on YouTube. I think comments will be coming through on Facebook. Jose says hello. Raymond says hi. Cam says, any thoughts about infrastructure stocks? I don't even know which stocks are infrastructure stocks. I mean, like Bechtel? I don't know. I really don't know what an infrastructure stock is. But it seems to me that the next wave of stimulus is building hospitals, roads, bridges, putting people to work. Old school economic stimulus. So there's two ways that the government can stimulate the economy. And the first way is through lowering the interest rate to encourage borrowing and basically rescue super giantly rich people. That's the number one way. That's the way they do it. But you're also going to hear this about, it's called fiscal stimulus. And some countries have already done this. The Netherlands was in the process of doing this even before all of this hit. Fiscal stimulus is public spending. That's the government building bridges and roads and other stuff to put people to work. And the longer that people are out of work in traditional industries, the retail industries, the more likely it becomes, and I'm talking like a $3 trillion public spending package. I think there's probably a 60% chance that we're going to see something along if it's not $3 trillion, I would be shocked, to rebuild bridges and roads and put people to work. It's going to be something that it's going to be great for construction companies and whatever else. So, hey, Nikki, my wife, says it's nice and quiet here now. Yeah. So, pop up a picture of. Why don't we take a minute and tell you that this presentation today is brought to you by Rosie, our new dog. There's Rosie. She was living in a car a little while ago, and came to live with us. She gave birth, and then she went to the shelter where she wasn't probably going to make it. So we took her in, and she's amazing. And she likes riding in the car, and she likes laying on my legs at home. So there you have it, folks. Back to the charts, my friends. So I wonder what kind of, if you can adopt or foster a pet right now, I mean, that would be pretty amazing. I mean, I know you're all probably already taking care of yourselves. Jacobs Engineering. Yeah, Jacobs Engineering. So infrastructure stock. Yeah. I think if I were going to go back into the markets big time, it wouldn't be on Snapchat, and it wouldn't be on Facebook, and it wouldn't even be on Microsoft yet, although I think Microsoft's in a pretty strong position here. It would be on, Jacobs Engineering or Slack. Slack has probably added a gargantuan number of customers in the last few months. If you look up the CEO of Slack, who's the Butterfield, is that right? CEO of Slack. Yeah, Stuart Butterfield. Look this dude up on Twitter. He tells a great story about what the company went through as this all kicked in. And he tells this, he's got this Slack, I hope I'm getting this right. He has this great thread about what the company did and how hard those folks are working over there. I don't personally use Slack. I got kicked off the company Slack because I can't keep my mouth shut and I'm an idiot. But I love this technology. So I think if Basecamp were public, which it's not, I think Basecamp is probably doing great. Box.com, I'm wondering how Box is doing, but I think these companies that make it easier to work remotely stand to gain a lot. I think Zoom is maybe the most overpriced of all of those, but I don't know if this is the right one. I keep getting this wrong. Zoom Communications, ZM. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you got to imagine people are going to keep working from home if they can, because it's pretty great to be with your family all day. I suppose depending on your family, right? Jacobs Engineering. Oh, why not Facebook? So here's a look at Facebook. Why don't we talk about Facebook for a minute? Facebook advertising rates. Anybody want to see my Facebook ads manager? You want to learn how to do online business stuff? I mean, I have a very, very small group of friends for whom I publish a newsletter about running online businesses. If you have any interest in that, you should leave a comment here. I doubt anybody cares, but I have run successful online businesses for a while, only like 20 years. So, I mean, not that long. So I'm paying a penny per through play. And, I run a lot of ads. This is a longer conversation. I run a lot of ads that are just meant to lift people up and provide education and help people out. I don't run a lot of ads that are meant to get people to spend money. But the reason I'm not super bullish on Facebook right now is that advertising rates are going to drop, in my opinion, even farther than what they've gone. Remember, retail stores and brick and mortar stores that were advertising on Facebook have completely stopped advertising. And that is a significant amount of advertising dollars. And what I think will eventually happen is a lot of money that was spent elsewhere will go back into digital advertising on platforms like Facebook. But right now, everything took a hit. I would like Facebook at a lower price. At a lower price. I don't know if it's printed a bullish profit circle. It printed 2. That would have been the buy. I gotta wait for now. I wouldn't mind a momentum buy above 171. Oh yeah, so a bunch of people are saying yes. Oh yeah. All right. So some of you are asking about missed pivots. So why don't we take a look at a couple of different things? If you're on TradingView, I think you should. If you're not on TradingView, I think you should be. And number 2, if you are on TradingView, what you can do is click on Indicators and Strategies and type in Booker. And during this difficult time, we've made all of my indicators free, and once they're free, they'll probably be free forever. You can get missed pivot points on there, and you can get reversals, which are also known as profit circles. If I pull up a blank chart, you could pull up a blank chart here on TradingView, just something without anything on it. And then you just click on Booker, click on reversals, and you get the daily chart. And you get bullish reversals and bearish reversals. Those can be circles or arrows or tabs. Don't spend a significant amount of time worried about what the shape is. Those are just directions. When Facebook was printing bearish reversal tabs, it was time to be bearish on Facebook. It's pretty much as simple as that. You can add a lot more to it if you want to, but if there's bearishness on high volume, that's pretty interesting. You can also add for free missed pivots. So if you type in Booker and you go missed pivots, it pulls up this indicator and it shows you all the missed pivots. I don't really want to see the daily ones. I just want to see the monthly and the weekly ones. The green are weekly, and I changed the color to purple for the monthly. And those are missed levels. Those are levels that price has to get back to, has to hit, that are really old. And Facebook, in the midst of dropping, went back and hit a ton of old missed pivots. I wonder if there are any way, way down there. I don't know if I can go far enough back to even see them. Can I go 700 days back? Yeah, there's an old weekly missed pivot out here. There's weekly and monthly missed pivots all the way back in the 100 and below 100 range. I mean, if we enter in a Great Depression, then Facebook will go to $50 a share. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it. All right, I do have a couple of comments about that. Let's talk about the robots. Let's talk about indicators. So Shady Zug lol. I just told you how to get the indicator, so I answered your question. Let's talk about. I get this question as much or more than anything. First one I get: how do I start trading? I'm going to come out with some lessons hopefully next week about that, to get started in trading some stuff. And then the second question I get is there going to be a Great Depression? Like, what's going on here? So this is not like the financial crisis of 2008. 2008 was a supply problem. And what I mean by that is that there wasn't enough liquidity. All of the money dried up in the system because first of all, banks went under. And then second of all, the banks that survived didn't want to lend money. And so there was a supply problem, right? So there was a giant supply problem. The 2020 problem is what they call a demand problem. What that means is that consumers don't want stuff right now. They stop spending money. This is like the Great Depression. The Great Depression wasn't just about a stock market crash. It was about the fact that people were poor and they didn't want to spend any money. And when people stopped spending money, that was deflationary, and that sent prices lower, jobs lower. Companies were charging lower prices, so they had to lay off more people, so unemployment went lower. People didn't have jobs, so they didn't buy products, so demand went lower. There wasn't as much demand, so prices went lower, and there was no way out of that. And FDR famously instituted all those public works projects to try to get people back to work. And a lot of people don't remember the conservatives. I'm not a political person. Yes, I am. There were many people in Congress that hated Roosevelt and didn't want to do those programs. And they fought those programs. And it got so heated that Roosevelt tried to pack the Supreme Court with justices. He literally tried to nominate more judges to the Supreme Court than 9 so that his judges could approve those programs as constitutional. Now, people don't remember that, right? I was alive back then. I was trading back then. I was trading railroad stocks and the early cannabis companies. It's not actually true, but the rest of it is true. So FDR had a hard time with that, and that was a battle. And they finally got those public works projects started. And guess what? Those didn't even do the trick. Not even that helped. The only thing that helped was a war. That's the worst spelling you've ever seen on a chart before. The only thing that got demand up was war. War created jobs and full employment. And then that full employment created a demand for goods and services. And then everybody came back from the war and they got married and they had kids and they bought houses and then they bought goods for their houses, and that's the way it went. If this turns into a demand problem, if this demand problem gets worse, if we don't all go back to work, if the restaurants don't reopen, if all of the retail companies don't open back up, then we are going to have a significant demand problem. And the longer it lasts, when people finally do go back to work, they're not going to spend money. And there will be only one way out of it. And they'll try fiscal stimulus. They'll try to create public works jobs. But what's going to have to do the trick is a war. I mean, I don't, what do I know? I've just been trading for 20 years. What do I know, though? Hopefully not. Hopefully none of that is the case. And hopefully all of us go back to work. Hopefully those loans get made really quickly. Faster than ever before, all jokes aside, Republicans and Democrats in the United States anyway, and central banks around the world are acting more quickly than they ever have. So the hope is that all of the stuff that is being done right now is enough to get everyone back to work. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not exactly sure. It's really too early to tell, and we'll know reasonably soon. All right. It's good to spend some time with you. I hope that you're doing well. I hope your families are well. I think now is the time as far as trading strategies are concerned. If you've got a win and you are bullish, lock in that profit, move that stop loss to break even, and see if you can ride it for a bit more. But take those bullish profits quickly. And then if you've got a bearish trade that's open, maybe ride those ones, move that stop loss to break even, or even add to winning trades in that direction. And stay in touch here in the comments as well. So if there is some demand for me teaching some stuff about online business, for those of you that want to know that, I mean, I have been in business for 20 years online. It's really actually 22 years online because my first business failed, but I was technically in business. And I probably now, if you add in last year, probably have done $20 million in sales over the last 20 years. Gosh, where is all that money? Anyway, but seriously, probably. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and tell me how you're doing. And of course, most of all, most importantly, if you're alone, if you're in trouble, you reply to one of the emails that we've sent you and let us know. I've got that email address. I'll put it back up on the screen and let us know. I mean, I can't get to all the emails and I won't be able to help every single person, but I do want to help. And the company that I work for and with, we want to help. And if so, especially if you're alone, especially if you're worried about your situation and you don't have any family or people close to you or people to help you, send me an email, rob@wrbooker.com, and let us know. And thanks so much for being here, everyone. Excited to spend some time with you. I'll be back next week. I know a lot of you are still asking questions, but I'm going to sign off for now and get back home pretty soon, as soon as I can, back to the family. And I'll talk to you hopefully really soon. Bye for now, everyone.